this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, and we are back. Do me a favor. I want to pump up the volume on this briefing that's happening downtown because of the Islamic terrorist attack that happened in New York City. Mayor Mamdani doesn't want to acknowledge that. He's still venting about white supremacy. Oh, white supremacy, white supremacy. How about the Islamist terrorist who set a bomb off right outside your house? All right, hit it.
It has been used in multiple terrorist attacks over the last decade. As we have previously discussed, the NYPD identified a vehicle yesterday on East End Avenue that was linked to the defendants. Inside that vehicle, investigators recovered handwritten notes referencing TATP explosive and listing chemical ingredients for the type of explosive device used by the defendants on Saturday. Make no mistake, what happened this weekend was incredibly dangerous, and the ongoing investigation will be exhaustive. From the first moments of that investigation, the NYPD has been working seamlessly with our federal partners, many of whom have joined us here. In particular, the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes NYPD detectives, working alongside federal agents. They have been at the center of this investigation. Members of the FBI and the Joint Terrorism Task Force, including NYPD task force officers, have executed search warrants at Kayumi and Balat's residences in Pennsylvania. Another important note, the two defendants arrived in New York City roughly 1 hour before they were arrested. According to our investigation, they crossed the George Washington Bridge with a license plate reader ping at 11:36 a.m. on Saturday, parked in front of 48 East End Avenue between 81st and 82nd Streets at 12:05 p.m., and walked to the protest. They ignited and threw the devices at approximately 12:15 p.m. and were immediately arrested thereafter. I want to thank our great United States Attorney Jay Clayton for his extraordinary partnership, as well as the prosecutors from SDNY for everything that they do, especially for their work on this investigation and their forthcoming prosecution. I also want to thank the FBI, especially James Barnacle, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI New York Field Office, and Rob Cassane, the FBI's Special Agent in charge for counterterrorism, as well as the Joint Terrorism Task Force. We are grateful always for the FBI agents and Assistant U.S. Attorneys who have been working around the clock with us since Saturday. Finally, and most importantly, I want to recognize the members of the NYPD who responded on Saturday and in the hours that followed. The officers assigned to that protest who ran toward a lit, improvised explosive device, the bomb squad technicians who secured and analyzed the devices, the detectives and analysts who worked through the night to develop this investigation, and the countless members of service who helped ensure the security of the people of New York City during a very tense and dangerous situation. The NYPD remains on heightened alert, and our mission is simple, and that is to keep New Yorkers safe. That responsibility belongs to the nearly 35,000 members of this department who stand watch over this city and who are prepared to respond whenever and wherever danger appears. On Saturday, we saw that commitment in action. Thank you. Now I will turn it over to our United States Attorney, Jay Clayton.
Are we going to talk about Islamic terrorism, ISIS, I wonder? Hello.
Thank you, Commissioner Tisch. I'm very proud to be here today with Commissioner Tisch and Director Barnacle representing this joint effort to keep our city safe. And I'm going to pick up where the Commissioner left off. I watched the video of New York Police Department officers running to the danger, knowing that these might be explosive devices, knowing that they might explode. That is the kind of commitment that makes this city great. Thank you. Thank all your officers. It's tremendous. It makes me so proud as a New Yorker. As Commissioner Tisch noted, we charged 2 individuals today, Balat and Kayumi.
Say it.
They are charged federally.
This is a Trump
with 5
appointee,
counts.
by the way. Trump.
Attempted provision of material support and resources to a designated foreign terrorist organization. Use of a weapon of mass destruction. Transportation of explosive materials. Interstate transportation and receipt of explosives. And unlawful possession of destructive devices. The facts alleged in the complaint are just that, allegations. In our great system of justice, they must be proven, and the defendants have the presumption of innocence. Commissioner Tisch did an exceptional job outlining the facts alleged in the complaint. These were ISIS-inspired actions.
All right.
And it is chilling.
Say it. Good.
That they wanted to do something more than the Boston Marathon, more than 3 deaths. Free speech and peaceable assembly are the bedrock of American democracy. But violence is not protected. And it's not protected protest. It's not protected speech. In New York, violence, particularly violence that has a terrorist bent, violence that is meant to chill free speech, violence that is meant to keep us from assembling peaceably, will be met with swift justice. This investigation remains ongoing, and we encourage anyone with further information to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI, C-A-L-L-FBI. In closing, I want to express my deep gratitude for, again, the NYPD and all of those folks in my office who immediately answered the call and worked around the clock. In particular, the heads of our National Security and International Narcotics Unit, Eleanor Tarlow and Jason Richman, and our line U.S. attorneys.
All right. Wrap it up. You haven't, come on.
Donsky and Jane Chong. Thank you all very much.
All right, who's this guy?
I'll now turn it over to Director Barnacle.
Uh-oh, FBI. Watch out. Double talk coming. I don't trust these guys. Sorry.
Thank you, U.S. Attorney Clayton. My name is James Barnacle. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's New York Field Office. Today, alongside our partners in New York City Police Department and the Southern District of New York, our office has announced federal terrorism charges against Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi. On Saturday, March 7th, these 2 individuals allegedly threw one suspicious device and attempted to throw another during a protest outside Gracie Mansion. As the Commissioner noted, if it weren't for the bravery of 2 New York's finest, we could have had a much more tragic incident. Yesterday, on Sunday, March 8th, a 3rd device was recovered from a vehicle on East End Avenue. Upon careful analysis by NYPD bomb techs and FBI Special Agent bomb technicians, it was determined that these items were improvised explosive devices, IEDs, designed to inflict serious injury and death.
I think we
to
covered
those
this
in the vicinity of the intended blast zone. Both subjects have stated they were inspired by ISIS, a designated terrorist organization, to conduct this attack. Balat and Kayumi sought to incite fear and mass suffering through this alleged attempted terror attack in the backyard of an elected city official. This weekend was just another example of the elevated threat environment we're currently living in. Let me be clear. The FBI will not tolerate those who use violence against targets in New York City to broadcast their terroristic ideologies. This would not have been possible. The outcome we're talking about today would not have been possible without the FBI's New York Joint Terrorism Task Force, led by Special Agent in Charge Rob Kosane. Our Special Agent bomb technicians, as well as our partners at the NYPD and the Southern District of New York. I would like to thank Commissioner Jessica Tisch for your department's unwavering partnership, and especially for the bravery of your officers who ran towards danger to protect this city and our residents. Thank you, U.S. Attorney Clayton.
All right. Too much congratulations, for crying out loud. We're not done yet. All right, we've got stuff all over the place still. And we have the guy in charge of at least one person up there who won't even say ISIS out loud. Now, they can underline ISIS all day long, but if political leadership doesn't see it as a problem, that's a problem. Let me go right back here. I'm sorry to be giving the FBI a hard time. He even reminds me of James Comey a little bit. This guy is tall. Go back.
Throughout the weekend. The collective efforts across all these agencies, including those who could not join us today, thwarted a potentially devastating day in this city. Rest assured, the FBI and the New York City Police Department remain at the ready to defend the homeland against anyone seeking to harm our community. We're continuing to chase down all leads and tips in this ongoing investigation. As U.S. Attorney mentioned, anyone that has tips out there, we encourage you to call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit your tips online at FBI.
That was a number for Mrs.
Thank
Guthrie.
Turn over to Commissioner for any questions.
All right, so we will now take any questions you have on topic only, please. We will do our best to answer, but as I mentioned at the earlier press conference today, we may be limited in some of the things we can say because we don't want to say anything that will in any way make these fine prosecutors' work more difficult.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, we do on-topic questions. Go to Gloria first.
Thank you very much. I hear what you said about what the individuals stated regarding ISIS, but do you have any information yet about whether they were self-radicalized or actually recruited by ISIS? And is there anything you can say about whether they were targeting anything or any person specifically? The mayor said earlier today that it was known this protest was going to take place for about a week. So did they come here specifically to target that group, or were they targeting the mayor, any other group?
So we're not going to be able to answer the first question at this time for the reasons I stated earlier. It is clear that they showed up in front of Gracie Mansion for their planned counter-protest in response to the original protest that was planned by a Jake Lang affiliated group.
Bloomberg News. Both of these suspects have extensive Middle East travel histories, which may be inconsequential. They both are Middle Eastern. How are you squaring that with this attack? And then secondly, can you just talk about the nature? These are two young men, not even 21, and the nature of radicalization reaching young people.
So on the first part of your question, we're not able to answer that at this time, although, of course, as part of our investigation, we are aware of international travel. And I'm going to ask Rebecca Weiner, our Deputy Commissioner of Intel and Counterterrorism, to talk about radicalization of youth. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is very much in keeping with a trend that we are seeing among ISIS-inspired adherents, both in the country as well as throughout the West. Younger and younger individuals who are radicalizing and mobilizing to violence. And this is taking place against the backdrop of social media, the dynamics of online culture. It's not limited to ISIS. It's across the ideological spectrum.
And this girl's from
younger people
the Brownies.
To violence, something we're tracking very closely.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Have any of... Oh, sorry, Jerika Duncan from CBS News. Had any of these two individuals been arrested before? Do they have any type of record?
Terrible
and how much
reporter.
time are they facing? And if I could get a third question in, can you describe how destructive those devices could have been? How many people could have been impacted if they were successful?
So I believe that the two individuals in question do not have criminal histories or criminal backgrounds. And Rebecca, if you could explain more about that IED and TATP specifically and what it was capable of.
As the commissioner mentioned, TATP is highly dangerous and extremely volatile. And the NYPD and FBI bomb squads and bomb technicians did do controlled detonations of the 2 IEDs from the protest, which revealed a significant explosion. It's really important to note that had these IEDs functioned the way the perpetrators allegedly wanted them to, they could have caused death, destruction, extremely dangerous compound, an extremely dangerous place deployed.
Well, I'm so glad that this woman is protecting us from all the terrorists. Rebecca Weiner, she got the job, and she said, you know what her priority was going to be? Fighting white supremacy. White supremacy. And we're paying a price for her misdirected attention. You know, it's not just rhetoric. These politicians, right? They influence the bureaucracy, especially a left-leaning bureaucracy. So they waste their time on neo-Nazis, right? Instead of what the real threat is, okay? Islamic radical extremism. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Classic rock. Yeah. Boston. Very cool music. Makes me think of certain things. Here he is. Marianne. This guy was whipped. Anyway, this is some of the first adult music I was ever aware of. Music that teenagers listened to when I was a kid. Breaking news, the singer of Boston is dead at the age of 60, Tommy DiCarlo, which makes me think that Tommy probably joined the band much later because that band was kicking out hits in the 1970s. No way was he on the original team. Let's see here. Do we know how he died? Tommy DiCarlo, lead singer for the band Boston, has died. He was 60. DiCarlo's wife, Annie, and his children, Talia and Tommy Jr., confirmed his passing in a Facebook post. It is with heavy hearts that we share the passing of our dad, Tommy DiCarlo. After being diagnosed with brain cancer last September, he fought with incredible strength and courage right up until the very end. Huh. All right. Sorry to hear that. That is a very young age these days, right? So, 60. Oh, and this reminds me. So the lead singer, the original lead singer of Boston, is a guy named Brian Delp. And that guy died in, 2007? And he killed himself. Why? You're a rock star, man. Let me hear that Boston again, huh? It kicks ass. It's very mellow at the same time. Anyway, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Bad mix. But I don't know for sure. Well, I'm sure this guy, Tommy DiCarlo, knew how to sing these songs, but he wasn't the original. What do you say, huh? Sorry about that. Rest in peace.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
She's not in your class?
No.
What class is she in?
She's in the other class, but she is close to me.
I see. What are you going to bring her for her birthday?
Unlike them, but I think she also got a baby.
I see. Okay. Who's the president of the United States?
Trump!
Do you like him?
Yes.
Why?
I just like him.
I just like him. Isn't that an adorable 4-year-old? When I talk to this innocent child, you wonder, how can there be problems in the world? But there are. Have you seen the lunatics vying to be California's next governor? The good news is that, my friend Joel Gilbert, the great investigative journalist, seems to be taking out candidates one by one. He has done investigative pieces into Swalwell And it looks to me like you have presented him with some very significant challenges. Joel Gilbert, welcome back. The people have read and they are taking in your work, and I think it's having big-time results.
Well, it is because, as you know, I filed a lawsuit called a petition for writ of mandate to force the Secretary of State of California to not certify Swalwell because he doesn't have a legitimate residence at all in California. California Constitution requires that you live in California for 5 years before the election, and Swalwell even told his mortgage company that his Washington, D.C. home was his principal residence, and he has no California address. He used his attorney's address for his candidate statement in California. And the new development is candidate for governor Tom Steyer has picked up on my lawsuit, and he sent in a letter to the Secretary of State demanding that Swalwell not be certified, citing my lawsuit. So things are really heating up. We've got a hearing coming up on March 23rd. Certification for the June primary is on March 26th. So if I win on the 23rd, he's out. So it's getting very exciting.
Wow. There are a lot of people in this race. Kim Porter, Becerra, a couple of others. I saw 8 Democrats at a forum, and that guy I like from Fox News, he's running.
Hilton.
And they're saying that there's no real front runner right now. Is that the deal?
Well, here's what's going on. California has something called a jungle primary. So all the Democrats and Republicans are in the same primary, and the top 2 go to the general election. So because there's so many Democrats, they could split all the Democrat vote, and we could actually see both Republicans in the primary and have a Republican governor. It really could happen because there are just so many Democrats who all have about 12%.
Well, that's really something. Hey, do me a favor. Listen to this. Gavin Newsom put out a book, and I think the book does, if anybody actually bothers to read it, it does real damage to him. You have my little book quote from it's from the show with Mark. Okay, Mark Halpern. Go ahead, please, if you don't mind. Go ahead with that.
Young Man in a Hurry is a memoir of discovery. And this memoir of discovery is quite literally discovering about my mom and dad and their divorce, learning about my mother and her father and her grandfather, learning about my dad and his struggles, not just his ambitions, and as a process, learning about myself. And so that's what this book is. And that's what it represents. It's not the veneer of a politician. It's not a sanitized version of a elected official or a public servant. It's about me scrutinizing myself in relationship to my past. And as it relates to the present and the future, I'll leave that to others to determine what this benefits or whether this is a burden. But for me, this was a cathartic process, and it's one that I'm very proud of because it's who I am.
At one point, I think he said, "This is not about me. It's me scrutinizing who I am." He's the governor, and he's going down family trees, finding out about. I mean, how do you do this stuff on company time, work time? He's the governor, for crying out loud. I think this does tremendous damage to him.
Yeah, what this is about is Barack Obama literally made a successful campaign off of his autobiography called Dreams from My Father, bestseller. So ever since then, every presidential candidate tries to write something insightful about their life history to try to impress voters to copy the Obama formula. Unfortunately for Gavin Newsom, he does not really have an intriguing, interesting, or anything about his life story that I don't think people can really relate to or find inspiring. So I think it's an exercise in futility and could actually be a negative. But he's just trying to imitate the Obama formula, and I don't think it's working for him.
Yeah, Obama wrote that book before, I think even before he became a senator. And so this is different. He's actually sitting there in the office. And the other thing that he does have to emphasize, because, well, why not embellish? You know, he's trying to connect with people. He describes himself as a bit of a dum-dum in school. And he overdoes it. He really overdoes it. I can't have a guy like this. He says he has imposter syndrome and he has all these hang-ups. And, you know, I want somebody who has no hang-ups. I want somebody who thinks they're great. You know, I think healthy self-esteem is something you want in a leader. If you got a guy like this, and, you know, this could be, our enemies could read this book and figure this guy out and play all kinds of head games with him. I think it's a real stupid thing he did.
I think it's a disaster. He's got this theme that, hey, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just like you. I can relate to you. He even went to an all-black audience a couple of weeks ago and said that he's kind of uneducated like you guys. He's not very smart. It was very condescending to tell a black audience, you can relate to me because I'm so dumb, essentially. So he's just butchering it. He has no marketing sense. He comes from a very privileged background. He's trying to run away from that, because he knows the theme of the Democrat Party is kind of like the lower class, middle class people. I don't think it's going to work for him.
Yeah, it's really amusing. All right. So, Joel, you had real world impact here, and congratulations. It looks like Swalwell certainly won't be governor, thanks to your efforts. I know you're not really, but what about the midterms? I usually don't really pay much attention to the midterms. I'm freaked out about the midterms. I can't have these guys harassing President Trump for the final 2 years and trying to undo all the progress that's been made. Do you think there's any hope for Republicans to maintain the majorities?
I think there is good hope. I was at an RNC event. They basically said that they're going to lower the interest rates with the new Fed chairman by about 2% coming up here this spring, and that'll lead to, they believe, a stock market boom, real estate boom, business, everything. So they're looking to ride an economic wave into the midterms. I think it's a good strategy. Bread and butter, it's the economy, stupid. I think people will respond to that. There's a good chance. The downside is if Republicans don't win, they will impeach Trump. They will put the agenda to a halt. But I think there's a good chance that people will recognize the progress that we've made since Joe Biden with inflation, with the economy, the stock market, everything. I think there's a good chance Republicans can prevail.
All right. Well, Joel Gilbert, please check him out on social media and everywhere else. Highway61ent.com. Great content, great journalism. Thank you, Joel.
Thanks so much.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Good on him. I want to talk about my good pal, actually. My good pal, Bill Stevenson, the poor guy. You know what happened to him, right? I can't believe it's happening. Just like they said in The Godfather, what kind of power do governors and senators have? They got a lot. They have a lot of power. In 1972, you could hear something like this and nobody would blink an eye. Do me a favor, Carlos. Go ahead and play that little Godfather soundbite that we have.
You weren't going to become a man like your father. That's what you told me.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people. Like a senator or a president.
You know how naive you sound.
Why?
Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
Who's being naive, Kay?
And in 1972, when that movie came out, people thought, senators, they do have people killed. Presidents, they do have people killed. And I'm not accusing anybody of killing anybody. And it's possible, although I'd bet my fortune on it, that Bill Stevenson did not kill his wife. I'd actually bet that Joe Biden, just the presence of Joe Biden in Delaware, has put Bill Stevenson in this position. Who is Bill Stevenson? He's the ex-husband of Jill Biden. And I wrote something up here. I hope you like it. It's called The Delaware Way. A critic of the Bidens faces murder charges amid suspicious silence. In the tight-knit world of Delaware politics, where everyone knows everyone and power lingers like fog over the Brandywine. Did you like that? I hope you like that. Speaking out against the Bidens can come at a steep price. My friend Bill Stevenson knows this all too well. As the ex-husband of Jill Biden, Bill has spent years challenging the official narrative of how Joe and Jill met, and in doing so, he's painted a target on his back. Now, in a twist that feels ripped from a political thriller, Bill sits in a Delaware jail, charged with the first-degree murder of his wife, Linda, but with no public indictment details, no autopsy report, and a wall of official silence that's as baffling as it is ominous. I've known Bill for years, ever since he reached out after I started ribbing Jill on my television program. She screwed over all-round great guy Bill Stevenson, I'd say, half in jest, but rooted in the stories I'd heard. Bill called to thank me, and what unfolded was a saga of betrayal, revenge, and what looks like weaponized justice. With Donald Trump back in the White House and a pardon for Bill seemingly on the horizon, the timing of this tragedy could not be more suspect. Is this the Delaware way? A code for insulating the powerful at any cost? Let's break it down step by step because Bill's story deserves the light of day. The origin of the story, from bar owner to Biden insider. Bill Stevenson's life reads like a rock and roll fable crossed with a cautionary tale about getting too close to power. In the late 1960s, Bill married Jill Jacobs. Yes, that Jill Biden, when she was just 18. They tied the knot in 1970, and Bill built a thriving business, the Stone Balloon, a legendary concert venue in Newark, Delaware that hosted icons like Bruce Springsteen and the Allman Brothers. Life was good. The Stone Balloon was a cash cow, drawing crowds from across the region. But in 1972, Bill needed zoning help for his expanding empire. He approached Senator Hale Boggs, who brushed him off with a curt suggestion. Go see that son of a bitch Biden. Bill did just that, reaching out to the then councilman Joe Biden. What started as a business favor blossomed into a friendship. Bill hosted a fundraiser for Joe's Senate run at the Stone Balloon, raising crucial cash for the up-and-coming politician. Joe became a regular in their lives. Dinners at the Stevensons' home, casual hangouts. Bill insists Joe knew Jill well during this time, long before the Bidens' polished origin story claims otherwise. Then came the betrayal. In 1974, Jill's car was in a minor fender bender. The other driver showed up at Bill's door, confused. Jill wasn't driving. Senator Biden was. For Bill, it was a smoking gun of an affair. He confronted them, and the marriage crumbled. The divorce started amicably. Bill was ready to hand over assets. But on court day, everything changed. Joe, Bill says, intervened, insisting Jill deserved a stake in the Stone Balloon. He even pushed her to hire a new lawyer, one in his circle. The case dragged on, and in a bizarre courtroom twist, the judge dissected their life to Bill's benefit. Did you pay for her schooling? Did you buy her a car? In the end, Jill owed Bill money. Humiliated, Joe vowed revenge, according to Bill. Now the first strike, federal charges over pennies. Revenge came swift and federal. In April 1982, just days after the first quarter's payroll taxes were due, Bill was arrested by the FBI for failing to pay about $8,200 in taxes for the Stone Balloon. Think about that. The quarter ended March 31st, and by April 8th, federal agents were at his door. In Delaware, a state smaller than many U.S. counties, this kind of rapid-fire prosecution screams overkill. Bill was hauled into federal court, convicted, and branded a felon. Another brush with law in the 1990s over a leased car sealed his record. Bill also recounts threats from Joe Biden's brothers, Frank and James Biden. Leave Delaware, they learned. You should have given Jill the house. It's the kind of muscle flexing that fits the era well. LBJ was still alive. J. Edgar Hoover at the FBI. Pre-Watergate America, where senators were untouchable gods. Joe Biden ascended to VIP status in 1972. And in Delaware's insular bubble, that power does not fade easily. The 2020 spotlight, challenging the Biden myth. Bill stayed quiet for decades, but the 2020 election changed everything. During the DNC, a glossy video spun the Biden love story. Joe spots Jill's photo in a local ad at the train station, tells his brother, I'd love to date a girl like that. Brother sets up a blind date. Bam! Romance. Their first date? A movie theater in Philadelphia. When asked what film, Jill demurred, I don't remember. I know my parents saw Psycho. My parents went to see Psycho on their first date. How about my dad, huh? Well, it's probably a good thing to do. You know, the girl gets all scared, right? Probably starts hugging up on the dude, my dad. All right, there's more to this. But give me a call, 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. Bottom line, my friend is in jail, charged with first-degree murder. I haven't seen the indictment. I haven't seen the autopsy. Something weird is happening. How can you have a guy of his stature in jail and nobody seems to care? This guy has been on the wrong side of the Bidens for decades. That's a small little state. Weird things have happened to him legally, and I think this is the latest example. But right now, it's life and death. Be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, we're back. Let's do this quick. Felicia in New Jersey. Hello.
Hi, Greg. Your show is addictive. I choked up when I pictured those two officers running toward the bombs. My husband was a police officer, and he loved to help people. It could have been him. And secondly, we treat this crud like fine china. Don't shake them or rattle them. And thirdly, the lady they interviewed in the airplane, her flight was delayed. She said, "Oh, this is a political squabble. What a dum-dum. It's war."
What lady in the plane?
They interviewed a lady at the airport on your news a little while ago, and she said that she didn't like that her flight was delayed because it's a political squabble.
Her flight was delayed. Why?
Because the security checks they're doing at the airports now.
Yeah, get over it, lady. Oh, right. Yeah. Felicia, you're amazing. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Viviana, hello.
Hi there, Greg. Before I go into my point, I wanted to thank you for being such a articulate man of God, and that you encourage people to seek God and to pray to Him, because that's the only way the nation and New York City is going to make it through this time.
All right.
We unite in prayer, and God answers it.
No problem.
So thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
What else?
Okay. I believe it is time for someone to give Mamdani an ultimatum. And I don't know how that works, because your father knows best in some of these situations where he's going to have to say, I disown or I do not support the Intifada, because he's drawing the people. Remember last week we had this conversation? You were so kind and you gave me some time to really elaborate. Look at what happened this week. The jihadists are coming here because they think Mamdani is a soft target in his heart. He has no, what I'm seeing is...
Well, listen, I got to say this. We don't know, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, look, I think... I said last week, hey, if they think Mamdani's on their side, maybe they'll lay off New York. I actually was brainstorming, trying to figure out a silver lining to any of this. I don't know. I don't know if, and I don't know what you mean by an ultimatum. I mean, how do we, he's the mayor, he campaigned on this crap. This is how he became the mayor. Not despite it, but because of it. Because of the anti-Semitism, because of, globalizing the Intifada. Now, that's why he won. So I don't see him changing his tune now. Viviana, you're amazing. Let me try Rob in Connecticut real quick. Hi. Very quick.
Good.
Yeah, hi.
Great. Quickly, I love the way you spotlight your daughters' just adorable voices. You're a shameless smoozer promoter, but I think that's great.
Well, what do you mean, shameless? I'm proud. I mean, make up your mind. Say something nice about the girls, and then leave it at that. You call me a shameless promoter. My goodness gracious. All right. I'm sure you didn't mean it. Maybe you did. All right. What is the point?
And I suggest to you, so you're going to get Jill Biden's first husband, hopefully out of this predicament. And that should be, and then be quiet about it, but keep working what you're doing.
I'll try, man.
Write a book about it.
What?
Your next book.
Maybe. I'm very worried, and it's hard. I thought it would be easier in a weird way. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?